African Development Community (SADC), chaired by President Emmerson Mnangagwa, and the Eastern African Community (EAC), chaired by Kenyan President William Ruto, for their commitment to ensuring that peace is restored in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. And Josephine Mugio gives us the details.
Hope for peace in the eastern parts of the Democratic Republic of Congo has been reignited, given the efforts by various mediators to broker a deal that will permanently silence the guns. This Friday saw a joint summit of the EAC and SADC being held in Nairobi, with the co-chairpersons of the regional blocs, President William Ruto and President Emmerson Mnangagwa, pushing for a solution that will end the unrest that has gone on for close to 3 decades. The African Union Commission, AUC, has commended the commitment by the two regional blocs to finding a lasting solution to the crisis in DRC. AUC chairperson Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf paid tribute to President Mnangagwa and President Ruto for their leadership.
To express the Commission's deep appreciation to President Ruto and President Mnangagwa for their leadership, dedication and commitment. It is indeed a great source of satisfaction that our leaders devote time and energy to try and resolve crises on the continent. I can only praise their efforts and pay tribute to you all for this genuine engagement. Your Excellencies, Eastern DRC has been a theater of mayhem and suffering. Population in Eastern DRC has been submitted to endless displacement, killing and chronic insecurity for more than 3 decades. Over the past few months, there's a glimmer of hope shaping up, and giving all of us reasons to believe that this time around, peace could be reached among all stakeholders.
SADC chairperson President Emmerson Mnangagwa urged all parties involved in the DRC conflict to collaborate with the facilitators appointed during the Nairobi meeting to spearhead the peace process.
The tireless efforts of international partners, whose unwavering support has been instrumental in advancing these peace initiatives, are equally applauded. Leveraging on complementarity, all efforts that contribute to lasting peace in Eastern DRC and the broader Great Lakes region must be synchronized to sustain momentum and ultimately lead to our desired result, that is peace. In the spirit of Pan-African unity and progress, we urge all parties to fully support the leadership of our esteemed facilitators and to engage in honest, inclusive, and constructive dialogue. Let us take full advantage of the current window of opportunity to secure lasting peace, stability, and development for the people of Eastern DRC.
EAC chairperson Dr. William Ruto concurred with President Mnangagwa on the need to ensure peace prevails in the DRC.
The situation in DRC continues to be dire. There is a humanitarian situation. There is a serious security situation and instability that not only affects Eastern DRC, not only affects DRC and Rwanda, but also affects our region. And that is the reason why we took the step as heads of state and government of EAC and SADC to present this matter to the Summit of the African Union in January this year, after the two processes, the Nairobi process and the Luanda process, achieved some results, but were not sufficient to deal with the situation in Eastern DRC.
The panel of facilitators includes former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, former Central African Republic President Catherine Samba-Panza, former Ethiopian President Sahle-Work Zewde, and former Botswana President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi. Josephine Mugio, ZBC News, Nairobi.
Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga has urged the church to reaffirm its responsibility as a guiding force through moral turbulence by steadfastly leading society back onto the righteous path. He was speaking at the ordination of 13 Roman Catholic priests in Harare, where he highlighted the need for spiritual leadership in countering growing moral decadence in communities. Attended by hundreds of clergy, seminarians and parishioners, the rites included the traditional laying on of hands, anointing and the presentation of sacred vestments by the Archbishop of Harare, His Grace Robert Christopher Ndlovu, signifying the sacramental embrace of holy orders as per Catholic tradition. In his homily, Father Owen Kudumba urged the new priests to embrace their spiritual responsibilities.
Mashoko okushorwa okutsoropodzwa achauya imita imatsi kumashoko ivayo kana mukanzwa kuti Roma haina mati imi bhora mberi no Roma haina mweya imi bhora mberi.
Guest of honor at the ceremony, Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga urged the ordained priests to embrace their expanded moral influence.
In your ministry, your voice will now carry great influence. Use it to shape the moral and ethical standards in our communities. In an era marked by social dislocation and moral ambiguity, your example can foster values such as integrity, justice, and compassion. I urge you to take an active role in confronting some of the pressing issues afflicting our society, especially the scourge of drug and substance abuse. This pandemic is decimating our youth.
Parents of the newly ordained priests were overwhelmed by joy and unwavering hope in the spiritual leadership their sons will offer in the church.
Nekuti ndivo vata wekutanga mumhuri medu.
Akatanga achiri mwana mudiki aita zvekusevha misa kuchikatholik kwedu achizotara ndakapedza chikoro ndikufunga kuzoita fata.
Tave nechipo chatanacho mumhuri medu, ndiri kunzwa kufara zvikuru kuti taita mwana asarudzwa naMwari. Chini chiri kundifadza ndisingagone kutsanangura.
Tane mhuri inonziwo mafata zvatanga tisingambofungira.
Mwari vanongoita zvishamiso, vanongoenda kuimba yakadzikira zvandisingatarisire kuti ndinganofata mukati memba yangu.
The 13 newly ordained priests now bolster Zimbabwe's national clergy, joining a Catholic priesthood of more than 800 who are doing pastoral and sacramental work across the country. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
The Zimbabwe School Examinations Council, ZIMSEC, has released the June 2025 ordinary and advanced level results, with both levels recording an increase in their pass rate.
Briefing journalists in Harare this Saturday, ZIMSEC board chairperson Professor Paul Mapfumo said more students set for the ordinary level exams, with the pass rate increasing by 1.43%.
A total number of candidates who set for 5 or more subjects in June 2025 examination was 511, which is a 1.27% of the total candidature of 40,368. Of these, 30 candidates passed with a grade C or better, yielding a pass rate of 5.87%. The 2025 pass rate therefore increased by 1.43%.
Professor Mapfumo also gave an update on learners with special needs.
There were 43 special needs candidates who set for the June 2025, and of these, 25 were visually impaired, 15 were physically impaired, and 3 were hard of hearing. For the subjects with an entry of above 1,000 candidates, the highest percentage pass rate was 67.44, and the lowest was 42.11.
Although the number of students who registered for the June advanced level examinations declined, statistics show that there was an increase in the overall pass rate.
Of the 110 candidates, 62 wrote 2 or more subjects and 42 obtained grade E or better in 2 or more subjects. This translates to an overall pass rate of 67.74%. The statistics show that there was a 36.07% increase in the overall pass rate for the advanced level.
The examination results will be available online this Saturday, with results accessible to all candidates and authorized personnel online through the ZIMSEC portal. The portal will be open for 5 days only, and heads of examination centers will be able to collect the results for their respective schools or centers from ZIMSEC regional offices on Monday, the 4th of August. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Harare.
Government's bold industrialization and modernization drive is beginning to yield tangible results, with Wange Colliery Company Limited emerging as a critical pillar in Zimbabwe's quest for energy security and economic revival. Yolanda Moyo reports.
The transformation at Wange Colliery Company Limited stands as a model for Zimbabwe's wider industrial recovery and speaks directly to the goals of Vision 2030 underpinned by the National Development Strategy. During a media tour of the Jan Coal Mining Company, led by the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jenfan Musore, this Friday, Wange Colliery Company Limited Administrator, Mr. Munashe Mashawa, told journalists that over $3.5 million United States dollars has been invested towards the acquisition of equipment.
We are looking at over 3.5 million that we actually outlaid towards the acquisition of the various pieces of equipment. The recovery and resuscitation of the coke oven battery is now sitting on 95%, which is basically means that we are done. The next stage is what we call preheating. Projections are that would need about 65 to 90 days to build that heat.
Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services Minister Dr. Jenfan Muswere held the recapitalization of Wange Colliery Company Limited as a shining example of successful public-private partnerships under the Second Republic's reconstruction agenda.
The modernization trust, recapitalization, joint venture models that have been adopted by the government as part of the reconstruction exercise in order to resuscitate Wange Colliery Company Limited now includes more than 5 mines, both underground and open cast mining operations are taking place. From a pre-2017 record of less than 500,000 metric tons per annum to more than 7 million metric tons of coal being produced under Wange Colliery Company Limited. The value addition processes in terms of NDS1 have ensured that coal resources in their primary format in terms of categorizing coal as being a raw material does not end with the mining of coal on its own, but the value addition in terms of processing through a coke oven battery in order to produce foundry coke and metallurgical coke, which is of great importance in terms of steel production.
In a bid to protect its workforce and surrounding communities, the mining company has also significantly invested in healthcare infrastructure, including the procurement of 4 dialysis machines and the expansion of several medical facilities to enhance access to quality healthcare. Yolanda Moy, ZBC News, Wange.
It was all joy at the Angel of Hope Drug Rehabilitation Center in Bari as parents and guardians of recovering drug survivors reunited with their families.
Jubilant scenes engulfed the Angel of Hope Drug Rehabilitation Center in Bari as parents and guardians of drug survivors visited them for the first time since they started embarking on their journey to recovery a few weeks ago. The highly emotional 2-day reunion was graced by the First Lady Dr. William Mnangagwa, who initiated the establishment of the Drug Rehabilitation Center. Parents and guardians could not control their tears of joy as they embraced their children who were exhibiting great signs of transformation. Wild celebrations were the order of the day as they erupted into song and dance. Ululations could also be heard as the parents were celebrating the change in their children's lives. Some could be seen carrying their grown children on their backs in celebration of the new chapter. For the recovering youths, the days offered them an opportunity to show their families how strong they have become mentally, physically, and spiritually. Neatly dressed and moving with renewed confidence, the children had a memorable day as they interacted for lengthy periods with family members. Dr. Mnangagwa, the brains behind the facility, could be seen interacting with each family as she engaged them in heart-to-heart sessions. The First Lady listened patiently as parents and guardians recounted painful experiences when their children were battling drug addiction. The visibly rejuvenated youths who said being enrolled at the center was a turning point in their lives expressed keenness to revive their dreams. They vowed to cut alliances with bad friends and to live purposeful lives. On the other hand, parents and guardians thanked the First Lady for her unwavering commitment to curbing the drug scourge. They said their tears of pain have been turned into tears of joy owing to the First Lady's efforts.
Mwana mwenye kana chimugumbo kana abuda akawedu tese ndizvo saka mazosangana nevitiona nenhasi ndakamutora mwana wangu nemoyo wenyama saka ndotenda Mwari vakuwedzerei nekuti taisambonakidzwa taitorwadziwa waitoshaye kuti zvakatanga sei zvichapera sei kana mai vake chaivanga singamboona kunge mai vake kunogeza itouya uzogezera pamakagara mulaunji mwairisa bhaketi rakapa okumura anga singambozwa kuti ndiye nzvadzi here kana kuti ototanga kutogeza kuti wana kusvika apedza ari imomo zvokuti munotozongwa kana vari mukoma utotogoda kuti rega ndibude apedze basa.
Ndini ndakachema makasvika ndakamira pageti marangarira ndiri pageti mukati ndini ndakamira pageti time yamakapinda yeye ndinaye takuona kwazvakuenda mai asi nekuona kudai maita change yakakura toda kukutenda yamai nebasa ramuri kubata Mwari vakuitirei zvakanaka.
Ine ndiri kumba kutenda chaizvo mai makandigonera ameno ndinokutendai sei mai nekuda kwokuti zvemakandiitira mukati meupenyu hwangu tindakafarira mai ndakakufarirai kuti makati uyai wana wangu ndikupei dzidziso muregere musiye zvinodhaka izvo mai ameno ndinokutendai sei makandiitire zvakanakisisa izvo ndikutoona nekuchinja makakatiitira nyasha kutipa mai vanedzidzo yerudo nekuti kufamba kwatatiita mukati menyika akakaremera akauya kuzotoesa taona nhasi nemufaro mukomana achinja.
Tinotenda amai kuti makatora dambudziko rangu inini mukariita renyu saka ndinokutendai.
Isati ndauya ndanga ndakutoita kunge munhu akurasa njira ndanga ndaremera ndakushaya kutuma kuti zvinondoita sei nawo ndakangokura ndichichengeta vanhu vedu ndikaringa ndaremerwa ndikazombawo kuti kune chirongwa chaamai aizvino ndakufara kuti ine zvaita chimuona ari katokurukura akatomboresawo vana kuziva kuti vana vangu munhu uyo angoti kana abuda atobuda asingazivi kuti vana vachagezeswa nomukana kuti vachaitei vachatii.
Zvinofara wakanyanya kana ivo vari kufarawo vanga vatondishayawo ndingatozovayeuchidza ndakati mwana wenyu
ndakaudzati chaiko kuti jaya rangu iri ranga raparara nezvinodhaka izvi anga achibhunduru kumusika asi nhasi ndikuona aiwa akageza akashambidzika ndandatomushaya but ndafara
ndakataura pamwe pacho zvinoita kunge ndaita sei
ndawanyepera pati ndega ndikufila kuti ndava munhu areformed ndamune discipline. First year ndakapinda zvandange ndiri nezvandave pari zvino zvinhu zvitone change kana ndega ndotonzwawo ndega kuti awa ndava mumwe munhu.
Ndikunzwa kufara zvisingaite nekuda kwekuona hama dzangu and ndoda kuti kukumbira regere nezvese zvandakavatadzira turi mukudhakwa, zvimwe ndaitadza nekutoziva zvimwe nekusaziva, but ndoda kuvakumbira regere. Ndigotenda futi amai nepurogiramu inoyi vakati encourage zvikurisa. Takuziva kuti munhu wechikadzi nguva dzaunomuka even kugeza unogeza.
One of the heartwarming stories emerged after a female survivor reunited with their 2-year-old twin babies during the reunion.
Inini kutaura chokwadi ndakarasika unhu chaiwo kugara nevamwe chaiko. Mai vangu chaiwo ndisatozive kana kutovapfugamira zvese, asi nongotendewa mai ndo chekutanga. Kubva panoona vanhu vangu ndanzwa kufara pamwe chete futi nekubatikana kuti nini ndandarasika somwari vanondida.
The First Lady, Dr. Mnangagwa, applauded the parents and guardians for prioritizing the future of their children by enrolling them at the rehab. She also rallied them to be patient with their children as they prepare to reintegrate into society.
Zuva ranhasi takaronga kuti muye muzoona vana kubva pamakavasiya muonewo pavari. Zvakangonaka kuti picture yamamu nayo nepicture yamuchaona yamaona nhasi. Ende tinoda kuti tibatsirane maonere enyu nezvatiri kuita pano tione kuti zviri kubatsira here kana kuti tichinzwa kubva kwamuri, nekuti ava takugara navo tozivana everyday setinavo. Saka tinenge tichida kunzwa imwe pfungwa kubva kunze kuti vana vava sei. Saka tinenge tichida kuti vana kana vadzoka kumba mova navo, murega kuvafungisa zvipi zvamatotaura navo pana nhasi zvatodini zvaakumbira regero chitozvisai kuseri chakutarisa mberi. Imimi murega kumufungisa nokuti makamufungisa achaita depression oti saka zviri nani pana vapagariki obva abuda futi. Saka izvozvo tichida kuti tibatsirane asadzokera kuya handiti. Saka imi muri uku ini ndiri uku iye ari pakati ndo mwana watida kuumba iko zvino totorwa kurwa chaiko kurwa hondo chaiko nokuti kana tadaiso tatova mhuri imwe chaiko muri pano mesa muchatombodzokera hamuchadzokera kune zvamakatitenwa zvese ndozvamukuchengetedzai mazvinzwa vana vangu. Hazvina kunyorova kuti ana mai nana baba varambe vachifera. Nechekare kumberi kwacho amai vakadonedza musodzi pamusoro pekuti mwana ndozvatida kuti zvisaitika izvozvo zvicharamba zvakamira newe muupenyu handitika. Saka hatidi kuti amai vacheme kushungudzika nekuda kwakuiwe munhu mukomana musikana mukuru wakakura zvawakaita izvo urambo uchingoita izvozvo.
Parents and guardians also had an opportunity to interact with counselors, nurses and trainers who deal with the children on a day-to-day basis. The parents received counseling on how to handle their children when they return home. When the children parted ways with their parents weeks ago, it wasn't all rosy since the children could be seen exchanging words with their parents as they were under the influence of drugs and other substances, but the reunion was testimony of the unbreakable shackles of the family bond. The 2-day reunion served as a reminder of the interconnectedness between survivors, their families, and the wider community. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
In a related story, Mashonaland East Province has taken a proactive stance in the battle against drug and substance abuse by launching a fundraising initiative to combat the growing menace.
The province, which has not been spared in the drug and substance abuse scourge, held a fundraising campaign in Marondera this Saturday with a target to raise $250,000 but surpassed the target, raising over $400,000.
We are losing a significant portion of our youthful workforce due to this menace. We must educate our young people on the dangers of drug use and provide real support for those already caught in its grip. More rehabilitation centers mean more young people reclaiming their lives. These centers offer not just medical care, but also psychological support and life skills training.
Recent amendments to the laws include adding crystal meth to the schedule of the Dangerous Drugs Act, imposing punitive sentences on suppliers. Kana munhu aba mombe imwe chete achinzi ngaapuwe makore mapfumbamo, uyo aparadza upenyu hwamangwana hwemwana nenyika ngaapuwe kana 30 years.
Mashonaland East Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Advocate Itai Ndudzo, who was the convener of the fundraising initiative, implored stakeholders in the province to pull resources together in the fight against the scourge.
We gather not just to acknowledge the problem or to diagnose it or to dissect it, but rather to put our collective efforts in taking decisive action.
The province's leadership led by example, with Vice President retired General Dr. Constantino Chiwenga pledging 30,000 United States dollars, Honorable Tino Machakaire 20,000 United States dollars, Senate President Honorable Mebo Chinomona 15,000 United States dollars, Honorable Garwe 10,000 United States dollars, with all cabinet ministers from the province pledging 5,000 United States dollars. The corporate sector also chipped in, with Dove's Funeral Services led by Group Chief Executive Officer Mr. Farai Matsika, who hails from Mashonaland East, pledging 50,000 United States dollars. President Emerson Mnangagwa last month launched the National Drug and Substance Abuse Fundraising, where over 3 million United States dollars was raised. Gerald Sasa, ZBC News, Marondera.
In a major crackdown on illicit drug operations, the Zimbabwe Republic Police have seized over 60 kilograms of marijuana, crystal meth and bronclear during one of the largest raids conducted in Kwekwe's drug havens. And our Midlands Bureau Chief Tafara Chikumira gives us the details.
The police operation resulted in the apprehension of 103 people suspected of involvement in the illegal drug trade and distribution of illicit substances. Among those arrested, 10 are believed to be the key ringleaders operating in the Midlands province. Of major concern is the fact that most of the illegal substances are being smuggled into the country, with dealers now using sophisticated ways to conceal the contraband from the law enforcement agents until they reach the intended destinations.
The drug, basically some of them, they produce a very strong smell, but it is defeated by the packaging. They package, especially Daha, in continuous plastic wraps, and then they closely tie them with sellotape, then spray some perfume over it so that the smell of the drug never comes out.
The Zimbabwe Republic Police Midlands Provincial Command says the Kwekwe raid is the beginning of the broader fight against drug and substance abuse in the province.
To would-be offenders, we say watch out, because we are not going to fold our hands. The struggle continues. I say to those who are engaged, who are selling drugs, those who are doing drugs, I say to them, the long arm of the law will catch up with them very soon.
The Midlands Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Owen commended the work by the law enforcement agents in dealing with drug and substance abuse menace.
We are gathered here today at Kwekwe Central Police Station to showcase the Midlands Province landmark achievement, illustrating our determination to ensure a drug and substance abuse-free community that focuses on efficient utilization of its human capital and natural resources to create employment, grow our GDP, and improve the lives of our communities.
Meanwhile, the Midlands province held a provincial drug and substance abuse meeting where stakeholders were given tasks to tackle the drug and substance abuse menace in their respective spheres of influence. Tafara Chikumira, ZBC News, Kwekwe.
In other news, stakeholders in the transport sector have committed to enhancing road safety and saving lives ahead of the Heroes and Defence Forces holiday.
As the country gears up for Heroes and Defence Forces holiday, the government and stakeholders in the transport sector have emphasized the need for motorists to prioritize road safety in order to prevent loss of lives. This follows a spate of fatalities recorded across the country last month.
Heroes Defence Forces inguva inofamba vanhu vakawanda vachifamba nzvimbo dzakasiyana-siyana, saka tinokumbira kune vatyairi vedu kuti vafambe mumugwagwa mune zvakanaka, tirege kumhanya, tirege kutora zvinodhaka, asi tive zvakare neinonzi patience yekuti hapana kwatiri kumhanya kusi kusvika kuona mamembers edu achiisa mabhazi akakodzera kunge ari pamugwagwa. Tinokurudzira zvakare vemitemo vemapurisa kuti vakaona bhazi rese rakaita overloading ngarisungwe, nekuti zvimwe zvinhu zvakare zvinokonzeresa njodzi mukufamba.
Hongu kunamata kuripo, tinonamata kuti Mwari tibatsire, asi madhiraivhirwa hamo muhighway code. Saka tikuti isusu mimi vanga makombi musanyore yenyu highway code, ngatisenzei imwe chete, because munoona vakuita zvavo kudhiraivha mumapavement, kudhiraivha oncoming.
With unregistered vehicles raising safety concerns, calls for order on the country's roads continue to grow louder.
Chikumbiro chedu ndechekuti polisi itibatsire kuti vanhu vari registered vasiyane nevanhu vekukonzeresa chaos mutauni, tiwanewo privilege yekuratidza kuti tine order. Munhu ari kunzewo asiri kubhadhara ZIMRA asina chaari kubhadhara kuhurumende, ari kuenda unokesha ya something like $100. At the same time wachikonzera njodzi dzakawanda mutaundi.
Meanwhile, the Zimbabwe Republic Police has assured the nation of increased presence to ensure responsible driving.
Commissioner General of Police, Commissioner General Stephen Mutamba, vatoisa zvikwata zvichange zvichiona kuti migwagwa yakasiyana siyana, migwagwa mikuru inobatanidza madhorobha inoenda kumamisha, munenge muine mapurisa vachiona kuti vanhu vari kufamba zvakanaka.
Zimbabwe recorded more than 28,000 accidents and 1,088 deaths between January and June this year. Festus Mgungurutse, ZBC News, Harare.
52 freedom fighters out of the 68 heroes and heroines exhumed in Ruwombwe have been reburied at Ruwombwe Shrine in Makoni district as the government reaffirms its commitment to speeding up the exhumation and reburial of the heroines.
It was a solemn yet historic moment in Makoni district as 52 out of 68 freedom fighters exhumed in Ruwombwe were finally laid to rest at Ruwombwe Shrine this Saturday. Families who converged at the shrine described the reburials as a long-awaited moment that will ensure their relatives are accorded decent burials.
Mukoma wedu akashaika kuna 1979 and angari murwiyo hondo, and for 46 years we had no idea kuti mukoma wedu akasakatikira kupi. So toda kutenda nechirongwa cheexhumation ichi because mukoma wedu akazowanikwa paanga akavigwa ine cave.
Ndoda kutenda vakatanga kuita chirongwa ichi chekufukunura vanhu nokuti tadosununguka kuti titoziva kuti baba vemwana tavachengeta.
Manicaland Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution Advocate Mishek Mugadza says efforts to accord freedom fighters decent reburials will be stepped up in Manicaland province.
Ndinoda kutenda President vedu Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa neurongwa hwataudzwa kuti vari kuisa kuti iye zvino vana vedu wese wakarara munzvimbo dzisidzo wakuzowigwa kamwe chete zvichibva zvatiitira zvakanaka.
Makoni West Legislator Honorable Jennifer Muswere, who is also the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, says defending the gains of the liberation struggle is the greatest appreciation that can be given to the departed freedom fighters.
Matendero ega tingakwanise kuita vana vakomana nevasikana varere mumasango vari pama heroes eka, maprovincial nemadistrict heroes eka, vari muno nevari kunze, ndezvekuti tidefende nyika yedu, tifambe nevision 2030 yekuti mumwe nemumwe munhu patinosvika mugore ra2030 ange ave neupfumi mumaoko ake. Zvakare chichaita kuti vana varere mumasango vange vane mufaro kuramba tichisapota hurumende yakaunza rusununguko yeZANU-PF.
The Minister of the Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs, Senator Monica Mavunga, reaffirmed the government's commitment to ensure all veterans are afforded decent reburials.
Following the creation of a standalone Ministry of Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Affairs in 2023, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, in his wisdom, assigned the ministry a very important mandate of memorializing the armed struggle through exhumations, reburials, repatriations, and documentation of the Liberation War history. Working together will ensure that the exhumation of the fallen heroes and subsequent reburials are adequately resourced and efficiently undertaken in an honorable and dignified manner.
Apart from the reburials of 52 heroes and heroines at Ruombwe Shrine, the remaining freedom fighters will be laid to rest starting this Sunday at different sites that include the Mutare Provincial Heroes Eka and Matumba 6 Shrine, while others have been taken to their homesteads. Kenya Stivuje, ZBC News, Makoni.
Now, do remember, for these and more stories, you can log on to our website. That's www.zbc.co.zw. You can also follow us on our social media pages on YouTube, on Facebook, as well as on X. And our handle is @ZBC News Online.
And here are stories still to come in this bulletin. In business, quality Zimbabwean commodities impress buyers at the 97th Zambia Agriculture and Commercial Show. And in sport, Dynamos get a lifeline in their relegation battle. We'll be back shortly with these and more stories in detail. Stay with us.
This August, we remember the illustrious sons and daughters of our motherland Zimbabwe, our heroes and defense forces who sacrificed their lives for the freedom and sovereignty we enjoy today. We also honor our defense forces who continue to safeguard the legacy of that sacrifice. Celebrate our heroes and defense forces by placing your heartfelt messages on ZBC's wide range of radio, TV, and digital platforms. Play your part in giving them the recognition they deserve. Email marketing@zbc.co.zw to book your slot today.
Thank you for staying with us. It's now time to cross over to our Montrose studios in Bulawayo, and it is Memory Queen Lovu who is on the other side to give us more news. It's over to you, Memory.
Good evening to you, Joyce. I thank you, and good evening to the viewers at home. Innovation has been identified as a key driver of sustainable development, playing an integral role in addressing socio-economic challenges.
The final day of the 2025 edition of the POTRAZ Expo and Innovation Conference, which commenced on Tuesday in Bulawayo at the Zimbabwe International Exhibition Center, saw innovators securing funding for their outstanding inventions.
It gave me confidence so that I know that I can build this robot. So now, with the help of the kids and the fact that I won, I'm going to build in my robot.
I would like to thank POTRAZ for this challenge that you've given us, and for the seeds for our funding. Our going to help us develop our system and improve on our technologies.
We are very happy for winning the opportunity for having seed funding of $5,000 under the 4IR category. So we will further implement our project, which is the surveillance and monitoring system for underground mining shafts.
Government is committed to providing a conducive environment that promotes innovation to achieve the national vision and sustainable development goals.
Allow me to give my acknowledgement to the leadership and visionary, able steering of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Comrade Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, whose development philosophy of leaving no one and no place behind continues to guide our collective national efforts. This principle remains central to our ICT and innovation strategy.
The conference, attended by over 80 innovators in categories like fintech, smart agriculture, medical technology, mining technology, and software development, brought to the fore the central role played by technology in promoting economic development. The innovation conference also saw panelists who were responsible for the education process awarded certificates of participation. Among them was the Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation Acting Chief Executive Officer Engineer Tapiwa Mutsamba. Lisa Kurira, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The need for academics and industrialists to leverage on artificial intelligence was the rallying point as over 1,600 graduates were conferred with various diplomas at the Kwekwe Polytechnic graduation ceremony this Friday.
The graduation ceremony cemented Kwekwe Polytechnic's leading position as the science and technology, engineering and mathematics STEM hub after 81% of the graduates graduated in related subjects. The Institute of Higher Learning is now angling to create some startups for its graduates in line with the Second Republic's industrialization efforts.
We are pleased to inform you that for the year 2025, we have 5 registered companies, 1 construction, 2 in motor mechanics, 1 in clothing, and 1 in mechanical engineering. All these are student-led.
Deputy Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development, Honorable Smelisizwe Swanda, was standing in for his principal, Ambassador Frederick Shawa, implored institutes of higher learning to go a step further by tapping into artificial intelligence in producing competitive products.
We should take note that AI offers unprecedented opportunities to optimize production, enhance precision in manufacturing, and unlock new business models. The ministry shall actively integrate AI into the TVET curricula and research to ensure the production of graduates equipped with future-ready skills.
Midlands Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Owen weighed in saying the Education 5.0 model has transformed society for better.
I wish to applaud Kwekwe Polytechnic for strategically positioning itself towards conversion of ideas into tangible goods and services that benefit communities and the Midlands provincial economy.
The Education 5.0 model is proving to be a game changer in transforming societies as it is churning out innovative graduates who are addressing societal needs. Tafara Chikumira, ZBC News, Kwekwe.
Liberation War hero Comrade Philip Makuto, who died on the 27th of July, has been described as a patriotic cadre. Comrade Makuto was buried at his homestead in Gutu on Thursday.
Hundreds of people, including government officials, veterans of the liberation struggle, ZANU-PF party members and villagers, gathered at Makuto homestead in Zoma area of Gutu for the burial of Comrade Philip Makuto. Speaker after speaker described Comrade Makuto as a dedicated and patriotic veteran of the liberation struggle.
Hakuna munhu andinoziva zvakanyanyisa anoda nyika yake sevangachita Comrade Makuto. Pandakawisisana nawo ndakabva ndaziva ndazivana nemunhu une rudo rwenyika yake pamwoyo, asingadi kudzvanyirirwa, anotaura chokwadi panenge paida kutaurika chokwadi, asingavandi munhu nekuda kuti une position.
Comrade Makuto, who was the leader of veterans of the liberation struggle in Gutu district, left a legacy of fearless service and selfless sacrifice.
Ndivo futi vakazotungamirira vakati aiwa hatina kupedza zvatakahwira, ngatichiinda tinotora ivhu redu tigadzike vanhu. Ndosaka muchiona tese tiri kuno kuminda. Ndiro basa rakaitwa naComrade Makuto nemaComrades ari pano vamaona panapa.
Nesuwo seZANU-PF tarasikirwa negamba redu nekuti vaMakuto yanga iri nhengo yedu yeexecutive yatanga tichibata nayo zvakanyanya mumusangano weZANU-PF.
Nhasi izwa chairo rokuti ticheme asi tichifara nemabasa makukutu akaitwa namaMakuto.
The Makuto family lost a father figure.
Munhu anoenderwa namabasa ake ndizvo zvaita kuti tinyanya kuda kuti mukoma wedu tivaradzike pano pamuPOTRAZ ravo.
kuti isu vaningina vavo nevana nevazukuru nehama dzose tione kukosha kwenhaka iyi yokushandira nyika yedu.
Comrade Makuto joined the liberation struggle in 1977 under Zandla, received training in Mozambique and was deployed to Manica province. After independence, he joined the Zimbabwe Republic Police and served at various stations. Before retiring in 2006, he held various posts in ZANU-PF party, and at the time of his death, he was the chairperson of War Veterans Association in Gutu district. He is survived by 2 wives, 6 children and grandchildren. Ms. Martina, ZBC News, Gutu.
Beekeeping projects are playing a transformative role in mobilizing communities to protect a forest from wildfires, which are on the rise in Manicaland province.
With a growing demand for organic honey, beekeeping initiatives in Manicaland province are proving that with the right support, viable projects can be established in rural communities.
MP wedu ndo vanotikurudzira uye ndo vakatipa dzimwe mare dzatinoshandisa kuti uchi kunge nzvimbo yedu yakanaka isina vanhu vanokonzeresa moto. Sanjo chinchinya kutifadza kuti moto vanhu havasi kupisa moto.
Upenyu wedu hwanani chatibatsira pakuti pakurima chaiko gore redu raanani nokuti nyuchidzi ndo dziri kufamba zvakare dzichiuchika zvirimwa zvatiri kurima.
The Forestry Commission and the Environmental Management Agents, who were part of the recently held Mtasa South Beekeeping and Fire Awareness Campaign held in Ward 23, have partnered with the local legislature and communities to protect the forests.
MP Mugaza, vakaendudza project ye beekeeping no Mtasa South. Vakauya ku Forestry Commission, vakati Forestry Commission ndawana timber. Yandoda kuti munhu dzidzisire vanhu venharaunda yese Mtasa South.
Following support from the local legislator, villagers in Mtasa South constituency now boast of over 6,000 beehives. The increase in honey production, among other products, dovetails with the plans to establish a cargo airport in Mtasa as the country seeks to increase its export receipts.
Agriculture has remained the cornerstone of Mashonaland and Central Province economy, contributing 33% of its gross domestic product. This emerged at the 2025 edition of the Mashonaland and Central Agricultural Show.
Mashonaland Central has continued to record a stellar performance in agriculture, contributing 33% of GDP on the back of massive 442 metric tons of cereal produced in the province last year. Government commended local farmers for recording the highest average maize yield per hectare during the official opening of the Mashonaland Central Agriculture Show.
The provincial maize production for the season averaged 1.7 metric tons per hectare, which exceeds the national average, showcasing hard work and dedication of our farmers. The province also anticipates a total wheat production of 153,000 metric tons after exceeding our provincial winter wheat target area by 3%.
Organizers highlighted their intention to consolidate the gains of the 2024-2025 summer cropping season, in which farmers recorded bountiful harvests despite a late start to the rainy season.
Zvino nzvimbo ino ndeyekutaridzana unyanzvi hwekurima nemamwe mabasa atinoita kunzvimbo dzakasiyana-siyana dzatinogara. Donzvo riri rekuti tinenge tichida kuti tizadzise Vision 2030.
Gracious Muchengu, the winning smallholder farmer at this year's show, was elated for coming tops.
Mufaro ndinawo ndasina tarisiro kuti ndichava ndiri pamberi pevamwe vese, asi zvangoyo ndimwari kushotka kuti tinodzidza. Saka mukudzidza tachionawo dzimwe mbeu dzevamwe.
Exhibitors from various organizations applauded show organizers for creating a platform to network and enhance visibility.
As a Nyaradzo group of companies, we are very happy and we appreciate scooping number 2. This time I think it was an improvement from last year's edition.
Taita number yokutanga uye tinofara chose kuti takwanisa kutora mukombe after a long time tisingauwani.
The agriculture show, which ran under the theme Innovative Solutions for Development, attracted 68 companies, an improvement from last year's 63, and featured a business conference and a farmer training workshop.
That report taking us back to you, Joyce and Atari, with the rest of the bulletin. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Memory and our crew from our Montreux studios in Bulawayo. We continue from Pockets Hill. The ZANU-PF Youth League is preparing for the National Youth Assembly set to take place on the 14th of August, with young people praising the ruling party for leading youth empowerment initiatives.
The ZANU-PF Youth League convened inter-district meetings across National and Central Province this Friday, with youth empowerment programs coming under review. ZANU-PF Youth League Secretary for Production and Labour, Comrade McDonald Mbungo, said the youth are benefiting from several empowerment programs initiated by the ruling party.
Musangano wedu wanga uriwo kugadzirira kwatiri kuenda ku National Assembly musi wa 14 August apo tichanosangana nemukuru wenyika. Saka taungana pamwe chete nemachairman ese neleadership yeprovince yedu kuti tione kuti ndezvipi zvinhu zvatingaende tichinochema nazvo kumukuru wenyika, asi taona kuti zvekutenda ndo zvakawanda pane zvekukumbira nekuti baba Mnangagwa varatidza kuti vane chido nemayouth.
The party's Mount Darwin district chairman, Comrade Clopas Chaji, said the youth recommended President Mnangagwa to remain in office until 2030 to continue with the ongoing development drive.
So musangano ngatinaone vana mayouth ekuno kuMount Darwin resolution number 1 tawirirana kuti President Mnangagwa ngavaramba vari pachigaro until 2030 vision yavo izadzikiswa. Saka takurudzira vamwe mayouth kuti vaende vataure nevana vanzwewo mamwe resolutions nedzimwe pfungwa dziri ku grassroots.
However, President Mnangagwa says he will not go beyond his current term, which ends in 2028. Youths in Mount Darwin were called upon to exploit the grassroots empowerment programs so that they are not left behind.
Takayenda takanoloncha a youth empowerment fund yakagadzirwa ichigadzirirwa vana vechidiki kugadzira ramangwana ravo
zvichisimudzira isusu vechidiki kunyanyanyanya kubandiko redu isusu madzimai takutosimudzirwawo tichionekwa.
The inter-district meeting falls at a time youths in Mashala and Central acquired automotive machinery purchased through the Youth Empowerment Fund, which they are utilizing to generate more revenue. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Mount Darwin.
And that story taking us to a break, but when we come back, we'll be giving you the business news. Stay tuned.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind to it, live the life that you
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
To all our valued viewers and listeners, ZBC encourages you to purchase listeners' licenses to support an informed nation. By doing so, you will gain access to authentic and accurate information, entertainment and education from trusted sources. Obtain your radio and television licenses at various ZBC and Zinara offices across the country and all authorized agencies. Be compliant, stay informed. Purchase your license today.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We now give you the business news. Zimbabwean companies are representing their products and services at the ongoing Zambia Agriculture and Commercial Show in Lusaka, where buyers have commended the quality of commodities on display. Stanley James has the details.
The country's trade promotion institution ZIMTrade has facilitated over 25 firms to take part at the 97th Zambia Agriculture and Commercial Show ZAX. ZIMTrade Chief Executive Officer Mr. Alan Majuru says that the key thrust is towards increasing local industries' market share in Zambia.
If you look 10 years back, that's when you started to come to ZAX. And I think over the years it has paid dividends because this is one of the most prolific fairs where we have very huge returns. If you look at our trade statistics, I think Zambia is in the top 5 of our top trading partners. But our analysis has shown that most of our manufactured goods exports, Zambia is number 1. So it's very necessary for us to keep our presence here and to make sure that we take advantage of the distance that we have between Zambia and Zimbabwe for us to push our goods. So that has given us competitive advantage. But besides, Zambia has been a very close trading partner for many years, and what we want to see is growth in manufactured goods and services into Zambia because of our participation in this fair.
Zimbabwean exhibitors are confident of further strengthening engagements with Zambia, riding on increased demand for goods.
It's important for me to come here. It's my first time exhibiting because Zambia is a big hub in terms of production. I'm also into the production field, and ZIMTrade thought it was good for me to bring my product here so that I can get the feel of the market.
We have seen that Zambia is a very conducive market for products, and that's why we're here to showcase what we do in Zimbabwe. And we have seen that there's greater demand here in Zambia for Zimbabwean products.
The annual exhibition has attracted the interest of Zimbabwean firms in the past few years, as it provides an opportunity for tapping into regional markets. Stanley James, ZBC News, Lusaka.
Well, from Lusaka, we take a break. Join us for sport when we return.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come. Let's go! Lights, camera, action. Put your mind to it, live the life that you
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Welcome back. 10-men Dynamos registered their third win of the season, edging New Boys Moors 1-0 in a Kasalaga Premier Soccer League match day 24 at Rufaro Stadium this Saturday.
The decisive goal, which electrified Dynamo's fans, came after Abubakar Moffat impeded Jairus Kasundo, resulting in a penalty being awarded to Dynamos. Temptation Chiwunga was the hero of the day for the Glamour Boys, converting the penalty in the 78th minute. Earlier, Shadrach Nyawa was sent off in the 70th minute for simulation, reducing Dimbari to 10 men. The 3 points are crucial for Chazunguza, who are fighting relegation. In other matches, it was a disappointing day for FC Platinum as they suffered their first loss of the season, ending a 23-game unbeaten streak with a 5-2 thrashing by Scotland. Meanwhile, defending champions Simba Bora maintained their top spot after beating Chicken Inn 1-0. Other results included Tel 1 losing 1-0 to Manika Diamonds, ZPC Kariba losing 1-0 to Green Fuel, and Yada and Triangle sharing spoils in a goalless draw. Action continues on Sunday as Urentals welcome Kwebo United at Rufaro Stadium, Begita Minerals entertain Caps United at Kibo, and Highlanders are hosting Gezi Platinum Stars at Babafield Stadium. Anna Shimrombedzi, ZBZ News, Harare.
A tough battle is brewing in the Premier Netball League as the second half of the season kicked off in style this Saturday, with ZDF Queens clinching 2 big wins in the Beitbridge bubble to maintain their lead on the log standings.
The Premier Netball League returned with a bang this Saturday, reigniting rivalries and unveiling a more refined league after a strategic half-season break. The break saw third-placed Chapungo Queens locking horns with some of the best teams in the region, a move that has brought excitement and anticipation for an epic second half of the campaign. ZDF Queens quickly showed their hunger for this season's championship, maintaining their silverware fight in their bubble matches as they eye daylight between themselves and an ever-hungry Chapungo Queens and an equally ambitious Harare City outfit who are breathing on their necks.
So this second half is going to be exciting. We've given our girls exposure to play against stronger teams outside Zimbabwe, and that experience will not only benefit the individual team, but the PNL as a whole.
Tactically, the mid-season break helped clubs to sharpen their chase for supremacy.
Chapungu Queens were able to go to Botswana and return back home with the silver medal. It's really exciting for us in netball in Zimbabwe because not only are we giving our teams exposure to play at the highest level in the country, but also internationally.
The second half of the campaign kicked off on a great note in the Bikita bubble, where Giants ZDF Queens showed their mettle, dismantling Aspindale 96-12 before outshining Buffaloes 107-13 to keep pole position ahead of Harare City Queens and Chapungu. Reynaud Ngwarati, ZBC News.
The National Premier League 5th edition kicked off this Saturday with Takashinga 2 starting on a positive note. The team won their match day 1 game by 59 runs over Westside Cricket Club at Old Hararians Sports Club.
Takashinga 2 batted first, and during the first power play, they had posted 51 runs for the loss of 3 wickets. At the innings break, Takashinga 2 had been bowled out for 258 runs in 43 overs, with the Shelton Machitorera contributing 12 runs to the total. Westside Cricket Club started their chase, scoring 51 runs in 11 overs. Panashe Gwatiringa scored a crucial 53 runs off 64 balls, hitting 5 fours and 2 sixes. At the end of the day, Westside Cricket Club was 199 for 8 in 45 overs, with Manson Chikovero scoring 22 runs and Panashe Gwatiringa 53 runs. However, they fell short of the target, and Takashinga 2 won the match by 59 runs. In other matches played at Kwekwe Sports Club, Sogo Rangers won by 172 runs over Mbizo Cricket Club, while Gladiators Cricket Club won by 127 runs over Maitland Lions. Gladiators captain Ashley Mfandaoya scored the first century of the NPL, reaching the milestone of just 77 deliveries. Anna Shemrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
And that story concludes tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at our Pocket Hill Studios, as well as the team at our Montrose Studios, it's good night.
Good night.
Another chance, In today's program, we bring you a story of redemption, forgiveness, and the power of second chances. Our story begins with Takudzwa Pandukai, a young man who found himself at odds with his family, particularly his father and the law.
Chakaswiti ndizita pakusungwa ndandakapiwa password pa garage pa baba wangu. Saka inini nawe kuti nonga ndidongoramba ndida kunetsa baba wangu kuti nge ndichiwirana nawe iwo wanga usingachadi zvekuwirana nini.
Ndiyoti akati I'm over 18. Saka amchagununde ndikati if you are over 18 then panapa inini ndinogara newe ari below 18. Andichagona kuti ndigare newe because iwe hauchateeri zvandinoda. Saka kuti titi panapa iwe uchiitawo zvonoda inini ndichiita zvangu handichagona kukuchengeta.
Takudzwa's troubled past was marked by strained relationships and a desperate search for solace. Let's hear his side of the story.
Chakakonzeresa kuti ndizonge ndichipinda muusungwa nhasi ndakazoenda